Greeny, as you mentioned, our next guest is one of the most active and ambitious operators in the country. He is the man behind Front Row Card Show, a multi-state collector convention operator that has shows across Phoenix, Salt Lake, Seattle, Tacoma, Las Vegas, Pasadena, San Diego, Portland, and Atlanta. Front Row has become known for big room shows with hundreds and hundreds of tables, on-site grading, and everything under one roof. This weekend with the NFL Stadium Show at State Farm Stadium in Phoenix, Dan is taking the concept into one of the most unique venues in the hobby. It is our pleasure to welcome back to the show, Dan Bliss.
Hello,
Dan. Hey, welcome back to the show. Another native Clevelander. We appreciate your time. What city are you in today?
I am in Vegas. I'm in our home office.
Fantastic. Yeah. So State Farm Stadium, that's the question everybody's asking. How does somebody get to do a show in a football stadium? And I know the easy answer is money. Anybody could pay tons of money, but like, what was the thought behind moving into the football stadium?
It's with necessity. We have outgrown our previous venue. We've had a lot of demand, and it was one of those things where we started exploring, doing a stadium show somewhere, and it ended up being a perfect fit. We were running a show, like Joe said, just a few hundred yards away, and it was right there in our backyard. For our previous shows, we've been doing shows at a hotel next door, and we had long outgrown the venue there, and we were just at capacity with the crowds every show, and it's like, yeah, we really need to move this. So that's really how it came about.
Dan, you have a real unique perspective on the hobby as a multi-state show operator. We'll get back to the show this weekend, but I'm curious to ask you, if throughout the West, and you've expanded into Atlanta this year, what are some of the similarities and particularly differences that you're seeing in parts of the country? How are people collecting, and is there a major difference across the nation?
Well, generally, collectors are collectors. There's always going to be people that are into everything, no matter where you go. But you're right. The ratios are a little different in each market. Certainly, there's hometown favorites, depending on what city you're in, and there's always going to be that kind of local, focus wherever you are, and every city we go into, there's always going to be the local, diehards and people wearing the team jerseys and all that sort of thing. And that's part of the charm. And then certainly a lot of our vendors who travel with us, they'll intentionally bring inventory that aligns with the local fans. So other than that, I mean, things are generally similar everywhere. There's some markets that are, even more strong TCG than others, but on the sports side and even on the TCG side, there's always a big mix of everything. So I wish I had a fancier answer for you, but, collectors are collectors, and there's, and when you come to a card show, whether you're an attendee or a vendor, you just never know what you're going to find. And that's the fun of card shows.
So you mentioned that the vendors that travel show to show. I venture you see a lot of customers that actually travel to your shows as well, right?
Oh, sure. We it's so fun when because I'm a vendor at every show. So when I'm a vendor at the show and a customer comes up to me and I know they're from another city, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so great to see you here. Oh yeah, we came down or came up or whatever geographical travel they had to make. And it's really pretty cool when you see, the big collectors. And I'm not talking about the buyers. There's always these buyers that come out that are either they're big online sellers or they own a shop or, there's all the different, large buyers that we all know, and they travel, but that's their job to travel. But I think it's really fun when you see a collector that travels and they truly just love the hobby. And I think that's pretty cool.
Dan, you talked about moving the show just up the street to the NFL stadium. Talk a little bit about what attendees can expect this weekend and some of the logistical differences that maybe from shows they've attended previously with you. What can they expect now?
Well, the first thing they're going to notice is the scale. This is going to be a big show. And, so that means, there's going to be something for everybody. So no matter what sport you're collecting or what non-sport thing you're collecting, there's going to be a good amount of everything at the show. Even if you collect, there's going to be a lot of soccer. Soccer is very popular right now with the World Cup. If you're into hockey, if you're into women's sports, there's going to be a little bit of everything for people. And I think that's what's great about a big show is you'll always find some cool stuff. The other thing that is different about a stadium show is, there's stadium rules as it comes to security. So expect that you're going to have to go through, if you bring your case of cards, if you have a big case of cards or even a shoebox of cards or a bag, a backpack, anything like that, you're going to have to go through security. And that means they're going to need to x-ray your items. And it won't be that big of a deal, but it is going to, take a few extra minutes to get through. We've arranged to have a good number of x-ray machines there so that, because we know at a card show, it's on, people go to an NFL game, they know there's a no bag policy or a clear bag policy, so they don't bring anything. So we had to explain to the venue that, look, we're going to have a high percentage of attendees are going to be bringing stuff with them. Like they'll be bringing collectibles they want to sell, maybe their whole collection, or they're bringing stuff to get graded or stuff to get authenticated by JSA. So if they're coming and they're bringing things, then, we had to explain this is going to be a little different than an NFL game where people know this. So anyway, that's going to be the big difference. But other than that, it's going to be a card show in just this amazing setting.
So let's talk about that setting. Is it on the concourse? Or are you down on the field? What are people going to see?
Well, look, here's what's going to be really cool. All right, this is going to be on the field level, and I think if you're a sports fan, you've seen the movie Rudy, right? And he always talks about like being in the tunnel, getting ready to run out onto the field, right? Well, all of our attendees are going to enter the show from the tunnel, so they're going to have a Rudy experience coming to the show. And I just as a sports fan, I just think that's going to be so much fun. And I'm just going to enjoy seeing people's faces light up when you come through the tunnel and then you have this exploding space. And we'll have full control of the Jumbotrons and all the screens around the venue. And it's just, honestly, it's just going to be fun.
I know Jeremy can tell you, like we've both had the experience in our lifetime at Cleveland Stadium to be able to do that. There's something different about being in an NFL stadium on the field level where your heroes have walked, whether you're even a Cardinals fan or not. Different that, man, not everybody gets to experience that. So, man, people that walk through that tunnel, I hope they take a second to just like stand there and look.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope that they have that visceral experience that we're hoping they'll have.
Dan, before we let you go, let everybody know where they can get more information. There's a ton of stuff in this show. As you said, it's a little bit different in an NFL stadium. Where can people get more information?
You can go to our website, frontrowcardshow.com, and tickets are available there. There's also a lot of information, within the website just about the show. As you can see there in that graphic, we actually originally planned on doing 500 tables, and then we expanded to 600, then we expanded to 650, and we did that specifically because we were tracking ticket sales. We could see where ticket sales were going, the trajectory, and frankly, they're really, really strong right now. And we feel like we probably should have sold more tables just to accommodate more people, to fit more people in the room, because the space is big enough we could fit even more, but we cut it off because we wanted to make it, a good experience for the vendors. We didn't want to oversell the show, right? We want to make sure that the vendors, because I respect vendors, they're all small businesses, right? And we want them to do well. So we never want to oversell a show. So we expanded it a couple times, and now that we're getting really close, we're realizing, oh my gosh, ticket sales are great. That it's going to be it's going to be such an energetic, fun show. So I feel like the good news is I feel like we're conveying what the show is going to be about, and so it's coming across. So again, to answer your question, just go to frontrowcardshow.com to get tickets, and if you click to our news page, it'll tell you a little bit about where to park. We have free parking, and the bag policy and things like that. So if you have any questions about accessing the show, it's all on our website.
Yeah, this one's going to be one for the ages. I can't wait to hear all about it. I know our friend Ryan Sasquatch is coming. Jay Mankey will be set up, so we'll hear firsthand from a lot of people on the floor. So what a terrific show! And
I want to add that your next guest, Chris Cobo, will also be at the show, and I also want to add that Pristine Auction is hosting trade night on the upper deck overlooking the stadium.
wow. And I've been on that upper deck overlooking. That is actually a terrific view. So kudos to Pristine for doing that.
Yes.
Great job,
Fantastic.
Dan.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Dan.